think it's good to get some headshots, just some clean headshots that show that you're professional, that show that you believe in your business, that show, you know, you're confident in it as well. Once you're in that zone, you feel it. Photography is more than just a camera, right? It's the chemistry, it's the communication. So it's important that you get the right photographer for you.
Marketing podcast, woo-hoo! With myself, Dee, Sarah, and of course Vish. And in this episode, we also bring you another guest, which I want to introduce a little bit later on. But listen, the Ultimate Marketing Podcast is the podcast that you need to be subscribing to, and here's why. Because we're going to bring you everything and anything that's going to help you stand out in your business and be seen as the expert in your niche. And the way to stand out and be seen as an expert in your niche is also by ensuring that the one thing that is absolutely key and essential to making you stand out is done properly. And that's why we bring you this episode's guest, the amazing, the awesome, the award-winning personal brand photographer, Jai Shah.
Hello!
Hey, Jai Shah.
I almost feel like you needed like a WWE theme to walk into.
It was like a bit of music.
Yeah.
But I do want to just give a little bit of an intro on Jai. So Jai has, for many, many years, he is an award-winning photographer.
Yes.
He started his career out doing lots of events, weddings, social events, but actually has emerged into the photographer, not the speaker, but the photographer to hire if you are a speaker, an expert, an entrepreneur, and you want to stand out. He went through the whole personal branding journey himself and started to help a lot of speakers and experts out there with their personal branding shoots. And now he has got some powerful portrait shots that he is an expert in doing, but he's going to tell us more about that. But today the topic is really around visuals when it comes to marketing, because I think that's something, right, Sarah and Vish, that not many people think about.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It's so easy to get wrong, and it's so easy to get right and absolutely smash it. Like, Jay, your visuals are absolutely freaking awesome, man. Like, you know, and I know you've extended an invitation to come down to your purpose-built studio, like a little bit of a plug there, to come down and do some shots. But I'm just like, man, I need to get my hair right. I need to get my beard sorted out like it's all right. And Jay was like, no, he's like, dude, it's about you. It's about your personal brand. Just come in and like we will smash it. And then I see him editing and putting up stuff that he's like in process of doing, and I'm like, man, I should really get myself down there. Those shots are awesome. But it's so important. Have you seen the recent
photograph of me, Vish? Have you seen the recent photograph of me?
Yeah, that's one I kind of skipped over really quickly. But no, it looked fantastic, and the group shot that you guys did as well, that it looked awesome. But it's so important because look, you know, and I looked at this, irrespective of platform, I was on, you know, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and you know when you're scrolling through, you know, countless like posts and stuff, the shots that have been done properly, right? They just draw your attention in, even though it's a small thumbnail or whatever it is. Your eyes get drawn to it automatically. Why? Because we're looking for differences, or we're looking for stuff that's not similar, and so automatically
stopping visuals.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key, isn't it?
Yeah, not just from like an advert perspective, but it's just because your eye picks up on it. You're like, oh, whoa! And so many times I've had to stop and go back and go, what was that? Because something piqued my interest. Don't know what it was, but it, you know, I figured it out. Like, it's the image, and that's pretty much the first thing you do, because you don't read when you're scrolling at speed. You look. So it's so important. You know, not just from an adverts perspective when you're doing paid for marketing or posts and stuff, but just having your profile be on that level through a really carefully crafted shot is paramount. That's me. Sorry, man. I'm like advertising for you, Jay.
I know. So, Jay, let's turn the attention to you as our esteemed guest. And by the way, you are our very first guest to come onto our podcast. Yeah,
appreciate it.
Privilege.
Yeah, no privilege.
Jay, give us a little intro on you and your background and what you do today.
Okay, so I'm a photographer, like it's already been mentioned, and as Dee said earlier,
award-winning.
Thank you, Dee. I love that. I started off, as Dee said earlier, in weddings and events, and then slowly on my journey as a photographer, evolved a lot. I still do weddings right now, but on a freelance basis. But throughout my journey, I kept refining what I was doing, understanding what I liked, what I didn't enjoy so much, and just trying to follow my passion as well, in terms of what I enjoy and really trying to identify that. So today, bringing us to today, like I love creating power portraits. I love it. It's like it fulfills me, like gives me so much joy as well. And just to explain what it is, power portraits.
I was just about to say, because I was like, that's a phrase that isn't really well known. So yeah, go on.
It's not, no. Well, I mean, I had to come up with that name because I had to call it something because it's not really anything out there like that. So they're bold, they're visually striking, images that, you know, they've got confident energy, they've got, you know, empowering images. And I create these using colored gels. And what colored gels are basically like the colored film that you put in front of lights to give color, basically. I realized that I enjoyed doing this kind of photography a few years back, like 4 or 5 years back, but I never really pursued it because I was in my own journey at that time. And it's kind of gone around and brought me back to where I am now. So I guess it's something I've been working on, and it's going in the right direction. It feels right to me as well. And it's something different as well. I've realized there's not a lot of people who do this. And yeah, it stands out. And also in terms of, well, what I like to say, I help people go from being stuck in the sea of sameness to standing out and shining like the superstar they are. Which is what it's all about.
I love that.
You know, 4 to 5 years in the making, like, you know, you started off doing this, not photography, but you started off doing this particular strand of photography 4 to 5 years ago. And I remember seeing some of your shots, like you did a really good friend of ours, Abid, Mr. Musa, you know, and those shots were awesome. And you did like a series of them. But what was it that kind of stopped you from, you know, from pursuing that? Like you said, you were on your own journey. What was it that you were doing at the time, and why did you take 4 or 5 years to kind of full circle back round to it? What was that part of the story, bro? Quite interested in that.
So at that time, I was doing a lot of event photography, a lot of wedding photography as well. Yeah. And like, to be honest, it was more the fact that I didn't really have a space, my own space where I could shoot in. I mean, I could hire studios and everything, but then trying to find the right market and everything, at that time, it wasn't just, my mind wasn't going in that direction. So the journey is so important, right? Because you go through things, you understand things, you develop, you grow, and then it kind of brings you back to where you need to be. And that just earlier this year, this is when I set up my own studio at home. I've been wanting to set up my own studio for a while because I love studio photography. I love playing with lights. And then after I did it, I was like, okay, I've got these dusty old gels. Let me just get the dust off them again, start using them. And then the first thing I did, got a mannequin, started practicing on the mannequin just to get the right lighting and stuff. Then I thought, okay, let me bring people in. I could practice on that. And then from there, it just kind of developed. So I feel like everything that happens in your journey is, it all contributes to your growth, and it all contributes to where you're going to as well.
So Jay, one of the things that we've looked at, and especially with that type of photography, the power portrait, is a lot of people that have been coming to you have been entrepreneurs, business owners, you know, people who want to, like Sarah said, stand out and have a personal brand and really show their empowered side. So why is it really important? Like, why is photography really important to be able to paint a picture of the type of person that you are, the type of, you know, to really sort of position yourself as an authority?
Photography, I mean, pictures in general, right? they can give so much information without saying a word, right? So it's very important that you get the right images that tell a story, or that tell the story that you want to tell, right? Or give out the feelings that you want to give out, or connote the type of message that you want to send. Especially in the digital age right now, and where everyone's attention spans are reducing, right? Compared to what it was like, let's say 10, 20 years ago. Images will make an impact. And if you have a well-crafted image that connects to the right audience, right, it's going to attract them. So for example, let's talk about personal branding photography. Personal branding photography, my process when I do it is, first of all, I'll have a consultation. I'll try and talk to the person informally, understand who they are, understand what their what their messages that they're trying to get out, what their personality is like, the stuff that they like doing in their free time, everything like that, so I can get an idea of who this person is, and then also trying to find out who their audience is. The next step is we create a collaborative mood board where I'll start it off by putting images together from what I've got from the conversation, and then I'll get them to put images in as well, so we can get an idea, a visual understanding of what they're trying to convey. And then I'll get them to take out images that they don't resonate with, per se. The importance of that is that they will, we will both understand, we'll be on the same page where the message that they're trying to get out to their audience is, as on point as possible.
Yeah.
So that's where personal branding, because it's about connecting with your audience. It's about, letting your audience see you at a human level, not just as a business, not just as a, like a service. They need to see you as who you are. And you need to be and I heard this on one of your podcasts already, and I completely agree with it. You need to be real. You need to be authentic. You need to be you. There's no point putting on a fake persona just for the photos, or just for the public to see. You need to be real, because that way, when you're real, whatever you're doing is authentic. You don't need to think about it. It's you, right? And then that clarity helps in the images as well.
Yeah.
So.
And like getting behind that realness, right? Like, do you use props? Like, how do you get that conveyed in a shot? Like, that's so deep, right? On that level of shooting. Like, how do you convey that in a shot? Because a shot, surely, I mean, people just think, yeah, it's a shot. You could take it on your iPhone or your Android if you like to use really bad phones. But sorry, a little dig there. I know he's an Android user, right? So like that's the thing. Like, how do you get that level, that depth of character or realness? How do you capture that in a shot, dude?
Okay, that's quite hard to explain, because
sorry,
with me, it's no, it's fine. With me, like, you can take a picture with your eyes, right?
Yeah.
Once you're in the zone, you get into that zone, right? Once you're in that zone, you feel it. You feel what needs to be shot, the type of angle that needs to be going, the zoom, or like, if you're wide angle or whatever, the positioning, everything like that. You feel it.
It's almost in the moment, isn't it? It's almost like you've got to be present as a photographer with your client.
That's right, yeah.
And almost enter their world. Is that right? Like you're kind of entering their world and using your skills and ability to then capture them in how you think.
As an observer, right? Like, that's awesome. Like, that's quite that's a metaphysical explanation for it, isn't it? It's like almost like it's outside of your physical realm. Like it's a lot of feeling. And I suppose, is that why your pictures get that feeling response? Because when I've seen your images, like not just the ones you shot for D and for your group and like all the people that you shot it, like I get drawn into it so much. Like, I'm like it just like it leads me into something. Like, it really leads me down a rabbit hole almost, right? That's what you're trying to capture, really, isn't it?
Yeah, especially when I work one-on-one with people, because I believe in energy and stuff like that, right? So for me, when I'm working with someone, I understand who they are. Like, I feel that energy, like that creative energy as well. and then you just create, I don't know, you just go into a zone where you just create amazing work. Right? Not all of it's going to be amazing. Like, let's be honest, let's be real. It's not going to be all amazing, but then you create one amazing shot, and you're like, whoa! Like, sometimes I get that feeling when I'm taking the shots, and then I look at the back of the camera, like, that's the one, that's the banger right there.
Yeah, it is that knowing, isn't it? At what point should? Because obviously, a lot of people who'll be listening to this, you know, a lot of our kind of listeners are entrepreneurs, marketers, business owners. You know, even startups. At what point would you advise somebody to really start looking at their visuals and, you know, hire somebody like you to come in and, you know, show that personal brand? Because many people think, oh yeah, I'll do it when I'm, you know, $500,000 into my business or whatever. At what point should really people start doing it?
You know, I would say from the beginning. Because first impressions count, right? You don't need to get a full on, like, at the beginning, when you begin at the beginning of your journey, you don't need to get a full on personal brand shoot. Like, a couple of headshots will do, right? Because you're still making a first impression. So the first time people see you, they're going to see that selfie like this, or, you know, whatever. They're going to see that, and they're going to make their own judgments of it. Even if they're not a judgmental person, they'll still have an idea of you as a person, right? So it's good to get, I would say it's good to get, if you can't do a full-on personal brand shoot, it's good to get some headshots, just some clean headshots that show that you're professional, that show that you believe in your business, that show, you know, you're confident in it as well.
Sarah, this is a really good point for your customers, right? So when you're building a funnel for people, and actually, Vish, you could answer this as well, how important are visuals, you know, for someone like Jay to provide, like, and also for your clients, how important are visuals to getting people to click on a next stage button, basically?
Yeah, I was just thinking as Jay was talking there, like, having visuals is so important for across your social media as well. So, like, on your if you've got a website, on your website, but also on your social media content, on your banners for LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, etc. You want professional looking shots. I think there's a time and a place for professional ones and selfie type images. It doesn't need to all be professional, but I think when you're doing something professional, you've got to have a professional picture. If you're just doing a casual post on Instagram or Facebook, then it's fine to make it a selfie one. But I think particularly when you're doing funnels, but Vish and I build funnels, we want pictures of the person that look good. And we don't want it to look like a bit like bodged together. We want it to look professional. We want it to look good, because then it's going to make more of an impact. So you do need some professional shots when it comes to your funnel. At the very least, you want one that's like a headshot for your bio section, at the very least. But ideally, some other shots of you throughout the content. So I think it's really important to have some. Be interested to hear from Jay in terms of, like, your power portraits, because they're so powerful. And it'd be interesting to know at what point you think they come into the equation, because potentially you don't need those from the beginning. But I think probably as you evolve, your photography evolves, like your images of yourself evolve. So I would imagine you kind of start with the headshots, then you go more into the branding, and then you move more into the power portraits as you evolve in your business. Is that right?
Yeah, so that's right. So the way I kind of explain it, headshots are great for when you're starting out, right? It's good just to get some nice, clean, professional images. Personal branding images are great when you want to connect with your audience. Right, it's good, like, to get your personality out there in your audience. Now, power portraits, I would say, are more relevant when you're more established. You've already got a connection with your audience. You've already, you've already got your tribe there with you. Power portraits are something that will help you stand out that little bit more. So, let's say, for example, if you've got your audience, you know, they see you putting your content out there. The content, you know, it's relevant content. It's all like similar styles of content as well in terms of what you want to deliver in terms of message. Power portraits is something a little bit different. So, for example, if you've got like a event that you want to promote, or you've got, a book release or something happening, or, you're speaking on stage at a big event, these types of images, power portraits, are ones that will stand out, will grab your audience's attention, and then you can deliver your message, like, specifically for something that's happening, that's big, that's you want to make an announcement or something like that.
Yeah, so you've taken photographs for the since it first started for EMC, Entrepreneurs Marketing Conference, which is obviously one of the largest marketing conferences in the UK, in Europe actually, and you've been their resident photographer. So if let's say you're speaking on that stage, using those power portraits to announce that you're going to be on that stage, that's where that would work, would it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And another thing that I want to say with these power portraits, so I did some market research on it before, beforehand as well. Got some people in, got them to do it, and then got some market research on it. The words that people use to describe it, like the most common words were powerful, which is why I used power portraits. Yeah. Powerful, empowered, bold, confident, superhero-ish. Yeah. So it's in that kind of field of feelings and ambience that those images kind of give out.
It's like you're on a different plane almost, isn't it? Like it's like, I mean, just not quite Avatar-like, but you're definitely on a different plane. So talking of events, because obviously, again, this is something that all of us are familiar with speakers, trainers, coaches, experts, entrepreneurs being at events. You've taken some amazing pictures, thank you, of myself as well at events when I've been on stage. It's been awesome, and I've always used them. Like those are pictures that I always use, whether I'm speaking at another event and I send it to them. And what is the best way, once you've been on a stage and you've had somebody like you take photographs of you, what's the best way to use those photographs to promote yourself to get more work in? Because I think, again, the people listening to this podcast, marketing is a form of lead generation, a form of, getting more, building your authority and credibility. So people book you to speak or book you because they want to work with you, whatever it is. So what's the best way to promote visuals when, once you've had them done?
I guess one thing you could do with those images, right? If there's a topic you were talking about on that stage, create little infographics as well from those images with certain key points that you spoke about on stage. You can share those as well. That'll help you, well, one, get noticed, but two, it will get you engagement as well, because it will be something that may be relevant to so many people, right? That's one way. Obviously, infographics on LinkedIn and Instagram and other social media platforms.
Yeah.
The other way you could, I guess, do it would be, marketing in terms of newsletters. Obviously, you can say send it out on the newsletter. You can, so many ways. Website.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Basically anything and everything, just get it out
there. Yeah. And I suppose the good thing with that is because obviously now you're shooting this digital format, you're no longer shooting on film, even though it's great to shoot on film and you must like doing that as well, right? But shooting digital format is great because A, you can get more content, B, you can edit the content and repurpose and reformat it to the styles and shapes and sizes that you need, and you can manipulate images a lot more, so that's one great thing with it. Like you don't have to have like a single platform approach. You can put them out everywhere. Like you said, Instagram. Yeah. You can have like carousels made with quotes or how-tos, 7 steps to do whatever. And the same thing for LinkedIn. I think is a great platform to use that stuff on as well. But what I really want to know, everything we've spoken about, kind of capturing the essence, capturing the energy, being in that moment. What do you think? And I don't know to put a number on it. I don't know if you should be 5 or 10, but you define the number. What are the X number of most important things when you're capturing a shot for someone? What do you, not just what do you try and incorporate in there, but what do you think the other person should kind of feed into as well, into that shot?
Ooh, that's a tough question, actually.
Yeah. I know. Ask the girls, man. I ask tough questions all the time.
Well, because I suppose
Right,
we could define the top three, the
Yeah,
power of
like
three,
it
right?
does. Yeah, it doesn't have to be like, it doesn't have to be 10. It could be 3. You could say, Vish, is like 3 most important, or like 5 most important things, and then like, what are they? Like, I'm really intrigued to know, because as you know, like I've picked up cameras before. I've shot video, I've shot stills, not to your level, but I've done it to get by and, you know, shoot enough content that I can repurpose it. But like, your stuff's next level, so I want to know, like, what are those X number of things? Like, let's just say 3. If there's more, there's more, but let's start with 3.
Okay, so let's say, for example, first thing I would say, so composition and lighting, as a photographer, that's a big one for me, right?
Yeah.
I'm always looking at light. If something's a little bit off, it doesn't hit me correctly, right?
Yeah.
So composition and lighting, what you include in the frame, what you don't include in the frame as well, consciously, that's important. So that's one. 2, I would say the demeanor of the person in front of the camera. So if they're feeling nervous, if they're feeling anxious, that's going to show, because they're going to be very tight. They're going to be quite rigid, right?
Stiff,
so
almost, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. So so my job as a photographer is to help them relax, help them calm down, comfortable, and then just get them to be themselves in a relaxed manner, you know, so I can take photos. This is all relevant if you're doing portrait photography,
Yeah.
right? I'm going to give you one for like if you're doing speaking, like on stage. So when I'm taking photos of people on stage, there's a few different things that I look for. One, I want to get the person on stage, but I also want to get the audience as well. So I'll shoot probably from the back or the side, so you can see the size of the audience as well as the person on stage, right? Another one would be a close-up of them speaking, where you're right up close to the stage, right? Another one would be maybe from on the stage looking down behind the speaker as well. All of these types of images are just like give stories, give connotations of like they'll tell a story of the size of the event, of the audience, of, you know, how you were doing on stage, what your confidence level was like, things like that. So yeah.
So, in fact, your phrase "telling stories without words," I think that really does sum you up. Ever since I've known you and I've seen the work that you've done, because whether it's, you know, event photography, whether it's even portrait photography, like you said, even the personal branding shoots that you do, it's all about telling a story of who that person is, what their values are, you know, what kind of person they are, which is obviously all around personal branding. So, if we were going to tell a story about you, Jay, through an image, what would that image look like?
Yay!
Oh man,
that's a tough question, Jay. That's a tough question.
You know when when you're so deep into something, you can't really see from the outside.
So this is your chance to tell people listening, like, you know, the kind of person that you are, because I think it's really important. Like you said, I think, you know, having a photographer, for example, that makes you feel comfortable and at ease. But tell us what image we would see of you.
So I think for me, being real, being authentic is important, right? So it would have to show me as I am. So and it would have to incorporate me, maybe my photography, maybe my martial arts, but also a lot about me as a person. So warm and friendly, I guess, that needs to be shown in there.
How would you show the warm and friendliness?
With a smile.
Okay, yeah.
But also it's in the body position, right? So if you're like this, that's quite closed off, right? You want to be a bit more open, a bit more like joyous, a bit more in the moment, happy, I guess. Also, what else? So the martial arts, the photography, maybe have a camera in hand. Although that's quite cliche as well, though. But
that's fine. It's you, right?
It is me, right? Yeah. Definitely colourful, so it has to be one of the power portraits, because that's me.
I can imagine you on like a motorbike or something.
Do you know what? I can imagine Jay dressed up in a nice evening dinner jacket, twirling on the lawn.
Okay, so
there's a backstory. There's a backstory. There's a backstory.
I was like, I'm going with the motorbike look.
Well, actually, with the motorbike, I've fallen off it rather than staying on it a lot more than.
No, you don't want to do that, bro. That's why twirling on a lawn in a dinner jacket is actually my favourite.
So listen, you know what? We could talk like masses and masses on this, and we'll definitely have you come back and you know tell us how those power portraits are doing, because I think that's something that's amazing. If you were going to give our listeners one key bit of advice when it comes to you know their visuals, whether it's their own visuals, whether it's visuals for the website, what would the one advice be that you would give?
Okay, I would say, right, if you're going to hire a photographer, if you are going to consider hiring a photographer, which I would recommend anyway, but what I would say is have a conversation with that photographer. Make sure you talk to them. Make sure you get along with them as well. And just because the way I find it works is when the chemistry is right, that's when you create magic. So definitely have a conversation with your photographer that you found, and if it feels right, then go ahead with it with that photographer. Just because, again, it's a key. Photography is more than just a camera, right? Yeah. It's the chemistry, it's the communication. So it's important that you get the right photographer for you.
Yeah. And how can people get in touch with you? What do they need to do to be a part of this power portrait photography that you are smashing it with?
Amazing. So you can, all right, let's do this. You can follow me on Instagram, Jai, so that's JAI.Shah.photographer. Same on TikTok as well. Same on Facebook. And if you want to email me, you can just email me straight, j@jaishah.co.uk.
Cool. And all of those links will be in the show notes as well. So make sure you give Jai a follow and 100% get in touch with him. He's done my photography for the past, God knows how many years now, even prior to COVID. I've got shots of me on stage. I am going down to the studio for my power portraits when we get it in the diary. But yeah, amazing. So thank you so much, Jai Shah.
Right.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome, man.
So yeah, that's it from Vish, Sarah, and myself. An amazing episode. Honestly, if you want to get in touch with Jai, I highly recommend it. And we're not biased at all. Oh
no. No, I mean, maybe slightly, because he's actually a fantastic photographer. And as always, this has been the Ultimate Marketing Podcast. Like, share, subscribe, let your friends know. Leave some comments below. Maybe there's other things you'd like to hear about, or we'd like to hear from you, what you want to hear on the next couple of episodes. Thank you very much, and tune in for the next one.
I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.